Right. So hi everyone. I am very, very happy to have with me a dear, dear student, Dr. Anirudh. He is none other than rank 2 in INICET May 2023. So heartiest congratulations, Anirudh.
Thank
And it is a tremendous effort that goes into getting a rank like this. How do you feel about it?
yeah, Amit, I feel very happy regarding it. Initially, I was not able to believe that I secured rank 2. I think I have checked it for 10 to 15 times.
Wow, that's great. And I was just talking to Anirudh casually, and we were saying that when it is an atypical paper, and when the difficulty level goes up a little, you really feel that maybe you were not prepared for it. But then this is where you land up. So Anirudh, why don't you talk about a little about your journey with us?
So, ma'am, I'm from AIIMS New Delhi. I secured rank 25 in my UG entrance, and after that, I finished my internship recently in January. So
Right.
after that, I came back home and started preparation. Uh,
Wonderful. And Anirudh has been a 3-year student with us. And Anirudh, I really want to ask you that do you think that starting early really helps in your preparation, where you reach finally?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Particularly for third and fourth year subjects, I think starting early would be really nice because it helps because those subjects are really vast and
Yeah.
you need to read specific things regarding it. So I think starting early would be really nice, and a lot of particular DAMS has helped me in that.
Right. Anirudh, can you tell us beta, a little about your strategy when you started preparing? I mean, initially, what was the goal? Was it to be thorough in the subject? Was it to be more selective right initially? What was the strategy when you began and how did it change over a period of time?
So, ma'am, initially what I did was for the first reading, I read all the notes. So
Okay.
without any select, I didn't do the previous year's questions also for the first time.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so I just read the notes, and after that, I realized that then NEET happened.
Right.
So I got 433 in that.
That's great.
So after that, I realized that to be in top 100 or above that, I should focus on selected topics,
Okay.
on higher topics. And a lot of
Right.
my seniors and I watched a lot of your videos and Sumesh sir's videos.
Okay.
There was one video of yours in which you told that you gave an example of diabetes mellitus, gestational diabetes mellitus. You
Yes.
were saying that you should there are selective topics, but you should study each topic in depth.
Yes. Yes.
So watching that video particularly, I think it had really a great impact on me. So after that, I kind of altered my preparation strategy in which I made a list of high topics
Okay.
from various sources, and then I particularly focused on them only.
All right. So that's a very, very wise thing that you are, trying to tell to others. And Anirudh, do you think that it was useful because, that's what we have observed over a period of time that the INI set exams are becoming more and more theory intensive. So although they have set topics, but in those topics, they really go into even the tiny details and specificities.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Particularly, they have been asking. I know immune checkpointers was important topic, but
Yes.
I know that they would be asking trails and all for that.
Yes. So they start with one end and they actually go on to sort of every detail because, and it's
Yes.
been happening over every successive,
Yeah.
ionized set paper. Okay. And then, when you go selective, Anirudh, can you highlight about the importance of certain subjects that you feel that one shouldn't leave behind and ones at which someone should be really doing well to do good in the exam?
So, ma'am, one thing that I was clear was I should read first, second year and optional because around 100 to 110 questions are
Yes.
going to be from these eight subjects,
Yeah.
and those are kind of reachable also. It's
Yes.
not like
Agreed.
uh, certain things like, let's say for example surgery, they keep on asking lines from I don't know which textbook they'll be using. So sometimes it feels like you can't even reach those questions. So what I feel is that first year and second year you can reach those, and that thing kind of helped me really, to be frank.
Okay. And, since you mentioned yourself, I would really want to ask you that, sometimes the paper would have unusual topics, and I'm sure you've seen that. So while you are preparing and while you were going through, let's say, PYQs, really, did you bother to read those unusual topics as well? Did you spend your time and energy on them?
Uh, no, ma'am, not much, because after doing five to six papers, you would sense the trend that
Yeah.
certain topics have been asking, and after that, you would watch certain videos of certain, people like you, Dr. Sumer, and
Very kind of you. Thank you.
uh, you would know that these topics are important, these topics are not important, and certain topics you wouldn't have clue about those. So
Right.
it's better not to waste energy on those. You might note down the topic and read something about it, but I don't think you should go really in depth for that topic, for that some outlier topic which is being
Yeah.
asked.
Agreed. Completely agreed. And Anirudh, also on your strategy on question practice. So I would want to know from you that as you go closer to the exam, is it more about solving the Q banks, or is it more about testing yourself and finding out your weak zones? How did you sort of work on that?
So I used to give grant tests, ma'am.
Okay.
So in that I would know that which is my weak subject,
Right.
which is my strong subject. So I kind of focused on that, and at the same time I have made certain important MCQs.
Okay.
So in the last, I tried to solve those MCQs, and every day I used to do 50 to 100 MCQs from previous year's questions or previous year's related questions or grant test questions, so that I would have the flow of solving MCQs. So even though I did all of that, I felt that the paper was lengthy and I didn't have time, because the paper was really lengthy. Every time I give a GT, I'll try to give it before the time ends. Like I used to give it in 2 hours 50 minutes, 2 hours 40 minutes. Still, I felt that the paper was really lengthy and all.
Okay. And Anirudh, can I ask you about your revision strategy, Bache? So when you said you were finding out your weak zones, were you maintaining a separate copy for it? And what exactly did you do in, let's say, last 1 month or 15 days?
What I did was, ma'am, because I had a time crunch, because I started my preparation after November INICET.
Right.
So it was only about 6 months or something like that.
Hanji.
So I thought of making my initial plan was making notes and all, but after NEET I realized that I should be doing previous year's questions also, and I shouldn't be just reading the notes and solving MCQs. So I didn't make a notes, but I just read marked or bookmarked some pages. I used to read on an iPad, so I used to bookmark those pages, and in the volatile, I used to mark volatile things and all. So in the last 10 to 15 days, what I did was I tried to revise all subjects.
Okay.
So all subjects, volatile things and important things. So I did that in the last 15 days. I didn't read the whole notes and all. I just did the high yield topics and volatile stuff.
So I think that's very, very rightly said, and a very appropriate part of the strategy. See, when he began, he was broad. I mean, he was trying to read the depth, the core of the topics. And as he went closer to the exams, he went more and more selective. And I'm sure, Anirudh, by following that, the number of revisions that you're able to achieve would be something that makes you confident.
Yes, ma'am. That has been a plus point for me, because I targeted for 3 revisions. Although I was not able to complete 3 revisions for all the subjects, certain important subjects, like I told you, like first, second year and Ops Gynae, which I felt that a lot of weightage was being given, and so for those things, I did 3-time revision. So.
Great. And since, Anirudh, you seem to be very clear in your mind on what you were going to do, I would want to ask you something specifically for volatile subjects, let's say pharmacology or microbiology or biochemistry. How would you sort of guide others on how can they simplify it? How can they make it more doable?
One thing which I did was I tried to bookmark all of them, volatile stuff. Certain stuff I was strong in, I didn't try to, I just kind of skimmed through it in the last 15 days.
Right.
So let's say, for example, in pharmacology, we have monoclonal antibodies, which are really volatile. You can't even remember those. So what I did was I kept pharmacology for the last day. One last day for pharmacology. So I just before the exam, I just read pharmacology and CCM ka formulas.
Acha.
So I had that fresh in my mind, and after going to the exam, that thing kind of saved time also, because
Yeah.
reading high yield topics in the last 10 to 15 days saves time also, because 150 questions or 140 questions are going to be from those topics only.
Yes.
So
True.
if I can put those questions fast, so I would be having time for the outlier topics. I could kind of think and try to put answers for that.
Absolutely. And also, Anirudh, you mentioned about CCM or community medicine or PSM. AIIMS or INICET has a tendency to ask more of biostats. And in the previous few sessions, the biostat questions were zero. For example, November session. And this year again, they bounced back with biostats, right? So what is your take on that?
So I think there were four questions. I think 6 questions on biostats.
Yeah.
So out of which 4 questions I didn't know at all. There was no clue about those 4 questions.
Okay.
So
did you leave them?
Yeah, I left them.
Oh.
I attempted around 189 or 190. I'm not sure exactly.
Okay.
I didn't check the key also because I was too scared.
Okay.
There were some 4 questions. I don't remember the questions also now, because I didn't waste my time on those, because I know that I don't know them, and I was not even able to eliminate one option also among those. So I kind of left them.
So this is again a very, very clear message that, we are talking to Rank-2 INICET May, and this actually proves that doing unusual things does not really decide your rank, right? It is about your core, your base, and the key topics where you have to maintain your strengths. And as he said, out of 6 questions in biostats, he didn't know 4. And he is rank 2. So please take this message clearly. When you start solving PYQs, don't really bother a lot about vague and unusual things they have asked. Try to maintain above average level in those topics which they're fond of asking. Am I right, Anirudh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Anirudh, now let's talk about your exam day strategy, right? So you went aggressive in the paper, and how did you tackle the time?
One thing which I did was I slept for 8 hours properly.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
Because one thing I realized that while solving the PYQs, so one topic I solved, let's say I solved from 2017. So 2018, the same question came with a twist.
Yes.
So I thought that I should definitely sleep for 8 hours, because these twists are going to be there in the paper. So I should definitely sleep for 8 hours, because my mind should be fresh for that.
That's correct. And yes.
And,
so sorry. Please carry on. Yeah.
No. During the paper, what I targeted was 80 questions in the first hour, and then 80 and 40, and I thought that I should put some time for the review. So, but that didn't happen in the paper. And what I was able to do was I was able to do 60, 60 and 80 in the last 1 hour.
Oh, okay.
So I had only 10 minutes for the review. And out of which I told you, those biostat questions, I didn't even see those questions for the second time. I just took them and I just omitted them and I came.
Right. And I was going to ask you this, did you keep too many questions for review? Because, if time crunch is a problem, then you really lose on them.
Yes, ma'am. I thought of putting review, but because in NEET also I did that. I put a lot of questions for review, and during the end of the exam, I felt that it was really hard for me to cover those things. So what I did was I wrote all of the questions on a paper, and then just before that, in the last 10 minutes, I had something like 20 to 25 questions for review, and I went really fast through them.
Right. And can you tell me, Anirudh, I'm sure that when a couple of questions come together, which you didn't have an idea about, how did you manage your calm at that time? Because like you said, those 3 hours are very, very important. Your mental state is very important.
That thing, every day morning I used to wake up in the last 10 to 15 days, and I used to tell myself that I'm not going to know 50 questions in the paper. I'm not going to know 50. Wow. After going into the hall, so definitely I didn't know, let's say I knew more than 160 questions or something like that. I was able to put confidently only. So that gave me confidence that definitely, I would get a good rank only, but I didn't check the key and all.
Fair enough. I think that's the confidence level one should have, that you should know what you have done in the paper, because that really tells how well prepared you were. And, lastly, Anirudh, as I said that, okay, can you also highlight on the image-based questions? I think there were quite a few image-based questions this year.
Yes, ma'am. I felt that the paper was really lengthy because they have put an image-based question. They have put a big case along with it.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Image-based questions were also a lot. And what I did was I first saw the options, then I went to the image.
Yes,
So
yes, that's a wise thing to do.
after seeing the options, I would know definitely. I would narrow it down, and after that, I just have to differentiate between the options. So
Yes, yes.
that kind of saved time for me.
Right. Dr. Sumer always says that don't see the image first, because then you have so many probabilities going on in your mind. So it's always about the options first. That's a very, very wise thing to do. And then go to the image and then go to the stem of the question. Great. And Anirudh, all in all, if somebody asks you that, okay, sir, I'm going to prepare for the upcoming INICET, and how different should be my preparation with respect to NEET PG, and what extra efforts I should put?
Ma'am, I didn't prepare much for NEET PG, to be frank, because
Okay.
I didn't read the notes for the first time also till NEET PG. So
Okay.
what I did was, for INICET, I did previous year's questions. I made a list of high topics, and then I tried to focus more on those topics. I mean, time wise. One thing what my senior said and what I felt is that INICET has a knack of asking the same topics every year.
Yeah, that's right.
So and NEET PG can ask the subject is way broader for NEET PG.
True, true.
So I think in order to crack INICET, one must definitely do PYQs.
And read those topics in depth.
Yeah.
And this time we did have significant number of factual questions also, Anirudh, right? And I mean, there were one-liners and
there were some mutations also which
yes.
And they were confusing in those mutations only, like
yes, long arm, short arm, and things like that. It really, is it a deletion, is it an inversion, and things like that. Yes, so they were very, very close options. So I think ruling out is a very good strategy, because then you can use your basic knowledge, rule out a couple of options, and then do an educated guess.
Yes. If I was able to rule out two options, I was going for the answer. And if I was not able to rule out at least two options, I would just leave the question. So that is what I tried to do in the paper.
Wonderful, Anirudh. I think it is a very well planned strategy, and you put your hard work in the right direction, and that's what is called a smart study. So it has to be hard work in the right direction. Anirudh, what branch do you want to pursue, bache?
As of now, I want to take general medicine.
Wonderful. That's great. And anything, non-academic advice that you would want to give to people who are listening to you as to what one should do when they are preparing for these competitive exams?
Don't try to compare yourself with others, and just believe in yourself, irrespective of what you get in grant tests or something like, and what your peers or co-students or your friends are telling you. Just believe in yourself and put faith in your preparation. I think that is going to fetch results for you.
That's absolutely rightly said. And Anirudh, one more question I feel like asking, so I'm just imagining myself as a student who's asking a senior who's done really well on how, so I would want to really ask, does Anirudh do anything else apart from studies, or is it only studies?
I used to play a lot also.
Okay, that's good. So that keeps your mental health
a
going.
lot before in the internship also.
So what do you like to play?
I used to play frisbee, volleyball.
Okay, that's wonderful. And do you think that gives you your time out and it gives you a cutoff zone?
Definitely. I think that is not wastage of time. I think that as an investment.
Yes, absolutely.
It kind of clears your mind also. And
great. So I'm happy to know as a junior that okay, we can play and we can still be a top rank holder. So it was a pleasure interacting with you, Anirudh. You are a wonderful boy with a very pure heart. And I'm sure that, wherever you go, you're going to touch many lives. You're going to make a difference in every way possible. So everyone here at DAMS wishes you a very bright future ahead. And we also thank you for making us a part of your journey, Anirudh.
Thank you.
All the best. Take care, Bacha. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.